Unlike other regions that we cover, it feels like predominantly the legends that are being brought out have less defense overall, which does mean greater speed, which means more acceleration, more energy being brought out too. We have a Jala and a Hattori going up against each other. And I feel like this could be such a great glass cannon comp to go up quite literally against a real cannon.
Yeah, I'm looking at that Jala and I'm getting a little bit worried. Of course, Onyx has great defense, so if Power wants to take kind of that tanky position and, try and support Use, but we're not really seeing that. We're seeing Use just rushing into enemy lines again and again and again with great success, mind you, with great success.
It's working so well. I love Power's coverage, just completely taking care of the anti-aerial and grounded gameplay with their side airs at the same exact time. Whenever someone attacks Use, Power's immediately there for a dare and follows up against them, so Wess is not able to set up whatsoever for these Lance plays.
Fiend, though, on the sword, starting to look pretty clean on it as he's able to find plenty of grounded attacks onto Use and Power. He's going to get knocked away a little bit there, trying to find potentially another knockout onto Use. They don't even appear to be going for Power. Ooh. They don't really need to. I mean, they got Olgrim DC on X, let's be fair, Keg.
But what's interesting is that Power goes down, and yet Wess and Fiend do not engage in the 2v1. They're playing still. They don't want to over-aggress because, I don't want to say they're afraid of Use, but they recognize how little damage they have left in these stocks. Fiend already goes down, and Wess, even more so, does not want to squander this second stock.
Very, very dangerous position. As we've mentioned many, many times, even if Wess isn't knocked out here, just knocking him away far enough could give the blue team enough time to create a pseudo 2v1 against Fiend and just completely annihilate a stock from him. They need to play this very carefully.
Oh, speaking of carefully, Wess gets taken down. Use had me nervous there for a second on that ledge. And everyone has got their weapons now. Recovery sent back into the air. Both of blue team with their second stock still remaining intact. A big buffer room for this first game to work with.
Very unfortunate for Fiend and Wess coming out there. Fiend setting up with the GC daylight recovery off the top gave them the perfect opportunity to gain those KOs, but it doesn't even really matter that much because they're gonna find it fairly quickly either way. Now looking pretty even across the board. Even though Fiend is on orange, the blue team doesn't have weapons here. If they're able to get a lot of damage onto them before, they do get them, but they don't, unfortunately.
Everyone's got their weapons now. Use was the first to acquire the axe. Wess sent up into the sky. Use not gonna go for the punish though, instead side airs away. Fiend falls.
Oh, and what's that? The Endlight probably would have been able to set up the KO, but the weapon throw will stop it. Now Wess trying to 1v2 this situation against Power and Use. They're trying to set up the 2v1 combo. But maybe they're getting slightly overconfident as Wess starts hitting them back and forth with this lance. Power tries to go for a read on his own, goes for the Seer, follows up with the weapon throw. That's it.
Would you agree with me that this is probably the best coverage we've seen in 2v2s across all the regions you and I have covered today?
I would say it's definitely up there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can't really quantify if it was the best, but every single engagement we had seen where Use was that primary, initiative force of going for those attacks, Power's Onyx was always there for the additional coverage. Just made sure that there was always a follow-up, extra damage, and most importantly, would normally be that factor that send either Wess or Fiend off the stage.
Indeed, we are going to be jumping into the next game with that in mind and try and see what these teams have up their sleeve to try and change up the game here. So far, just a scramble.
It's a scramble for now, but it's Apocalypse. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I know. It always is.
I've
said this before. I've said this before, and I was memed for. I think that openings in Brawlhalla, like the first 10 seconds of a 2v2, they're like chess openings. Like,
oh, yeah.
Everyone knows what you're going to do. People have played the beginning of the game so many times. You have the positions. Usually, you're gonna see something that you've already seen.
Well, I mean, you could say that for Brawlhalla in a nutshell. That it's barely about connecting attacks. I mean, it is, don't get me wrong, but it really is like a chess game. Like, okay, if I position myself here, how can I condition the enemy to do this next move? Or how can I place myself to capitalize best on these attacks? And already, Yu's and Power have gone down. And look at this, look at Yu's positioning. Dancing around, trying to evade away Fiend from the far right, and Wess is there for the potential follow-up. Fiend, though, playing off stage, looking for maybe a ground pound or a Sair, but unable to do so. Power finds the right positioning to take Fiend away, but Yu's in the process of all of that gets ground pounded down to that final stock.
Amazing game so far from Wess and Fiend. Wess is going to be going down, leaving Fiend in a dangerous situation here, but he is going to be able to stay out of enemy lines. Finds that D-Sig, but he will be hitting Wess with it. Now, with a full stock lead, let's see what they're going to be able to do.
Oh, the tail end of a recovery connecting for Wess. Yu's still somehow maintaining prowess in the game, keeping Wess in the air, allowing this 1v1 between Power and Fiend to ensue. A good side air from Fiend takes Power off stage, but no weapon now for Power. They overextended, they can't get back on stage, they're down to their final stock.
The Lance D-Light into Enisig? Okay, I might just be a noob, but I have not seen that all too often. Wess, you are impressing me with your Lance skills today. Jesus, we got 4 stocks versus 1. Power, it's gonna take a true master to reverse this. He's already thinking about the next game.
Yeah, Wess has been just a nasty, nasty Ulgrim today, and we've seen some Ulgrims kind of be hit or miss in some of the previous series, but you know, this time around, this Lance has been the most consistent. Great coverage yet again, outmaneuvering the cannon, not allowing Power to find much momentum into these matches. But Power still survives. A ground pound to stifle momentum there. Stuck in a 2v1, surrounded quite literally. 1 stock to 4. The weapon throw doesn't connect. Fiend with the recovery sends Wess back into the sky. No one's losing their stocks today. Just barely evading away from everybody else. Power, though, off stage. Gets back onto the stage. But Fiend is there for the side air. The javelin throw is out. And that's going to be a 2-0 so far for Team Red. No, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. It's a 1-1.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what a turn of events. They went from losing the first game to literally 4-stocking. Like, how? How does that happen?
And it's wild because we've been seeing that a lot based off of legend picks or swapping stages. But no, this was just a complete turnaround in terms of tempo and just counter-stratting from Wesley and Fiend. We have not seen anything like that so far today, but we'll have to wait and see if there's going to be adjustments into the next game here. Not a lot of damage applied on Yu's that last game. They really struggled to get things going with either one of their weapons, and for the most part, because of that early stock takedown, they had to play mostly an evasive defensive game.
You know, as we mentioned last game, you can really look at Brawlhalla like a game of chess. The real magic happens in between these games when they're talking to their teammates, strategizing about what they're going to do, and I think Power and Use might just have what it takes to come back from getting 4-stocked. Even then, like, if it's going to be back and forth, how crazy is it not to go from getting 4-stocked to then winning?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really big confidence booster.
For sure. We have definitely seen crazier, though, and I mean, if it's anyone that can do it, it's definitely going to be Power and Use. So far, they've got a very good start for themselves. Fiend and Wess both quite damaged here. They have the stage control, they're knocking the enemies away. This is looking good for them, Keg.
Yeah, really good stage coverage right now from Power especially. Use is there for the anti-aerial to make sure that no one could comfortably land back on stage. Some team damage applied from Fiend's end onto Wess, but again, just fishing for these 1v1s worked out very beneficially. But Use again,
oh my god,
guard into
Fiend!
Double KO! Beautiful
Fiend.
work from Fiend again.
God. Am I the only one that feels like when I watch Fiend play Hattori, I wanna open a Brawlhalla and I want to play Hattori. Like, Fiend's Hattori is there's so much satisfaction in every single combo that is hitting. You know, he's going for these crazy options, chasing players across the screen just to land that one in air that will be enough to get that knockout. But enough talk about Fiend. Wess is now back on the battlefield with a fresh stock. They're gonna be knocking Power away, throwing them into Fiend, but we're going back into a scramble here, Keg.
Yeah, and my eyes are glued onto Hughes because these last 2 games have been a struggle for these early stocks. The final ones lasted a long time, but it's really this over-aggression from Fiend that Hughes has just not been able to deal with. Whenever it's not Fiend, Wess is there for accompanying few hits to get that chip damage to just help Fiend capitalize even more. But there we go, good neutral sig sends Wess into the sky. No follow-up with the recovery though. Attempts to go for another signature, but instead, oh no. You don't want to go for team damage when Hughes is that low.
Definitely don't. Hughes is going to be able to find that there, though. Not enough to KO, but that's going to be a lot of damage and stress put onto Wess. What did I say stress for? It's Wess, man. His mental is solid. He's not getting stressed. He's as calm as he'll ever be. He's hitting signatures left and right.
Oh, but I'd be stressed right now if I was in this matchup. Power's the only one on their second stock. Perhaps I spoke too soon. Great horizontal recovery with the cannon. Great for 2v2s. Hughes on the back end, allowing Power to take the primary hits. He's got that dummy room to work with, but no! Now the buffer's gone.
Power 2 is so satisfying to watch. He will isolate into a 1v1, and then at the moment you least expect it, he will swap over to the other team. And oh my god, they were all offstage for so long. They are gonna manage to get some ground under their feet though. Hughes is so damaged and Wess is looking for that knockout. I'm starting to get worried here, Keg.
Fiend is not letting go of the gas pedal. There it is. Great side save from Wess. Hughes is caught in the middle. Maybe able to eliminate Fiend, but it's far too late for them. Oh no! They're back and now it's a 1v1.
Hughes got back? How? Oh my, I don't even know, but I'm not gonna question it. We have the offstage encounter immediately. Hughes going for the ground pound. That could have been a knockout instantly. Wess is gonna be able to get out of there though, and he will find that Axis there to finish that game off.
Hughes had every opportunity in the world to take it back, but missed that final side air. The double recoveries from both Wess and Hughes did not connect. That was such a close play. And with Fiend going down, there was a glimmer of hope, but not anymore. Or at least now, or at least we could be, depending on how this game goes, guaranteed a game 5.
Time will tell. We're still seeing no legend swaps, okay? At what point in a time in this set do you think we're gonna see a legend swap? Are we gonna see a legend swap at all? I mean, we're approaching game 5 here.
We go to game 5, yes? Well, I don't know, actually. It's a tough call.
That is the most unsure yes I've heard in my entire life, and I feel that sums up how I feel as well. That sums up how I feel as well, Keg.
Like, no one's underperforming on their legends right now. You could point to Hughes and be like, yeah, Hughes is going down kinda early, but I think Hughes' clutch factor at the end of that last game proves to show, okay, well, maybe the Brawlhalla has a lot of working with it, right? And I think
the
there's great coverage.
Signatures.
Yeah, the Brawlhalla signatures, such a fast start time, really good coverage again for the recoveries, and just great at catching people like Wess off guard with that neutral that we had seen, what, 2 games ago? So good. But I don't know if it's worth swapping legends just yet. I would honestly say, if we do go to a game 5, it would be Wess or Fiend that swap.
You know, I feel like in general, throughout this entire set, there's not really any one player here that is struggling. All of these players, I mean, we are literally able to find things amazing about all of the players on the screen here.
Like that! Wow, what great coverage again! The Brawlhalla takes down Wess and Fiend. Again, solo on defense, just like Hughes' Brawlhalla. Has to hold on, but not for much longer. And look at that, Polly. Perfect case in point. We talked about how Hughes had a slow start this series and now is leading the charge in terms of stocks.
Absolutely, all of these players playing so incredibly well. It all comes down to that one mistake that you make, or that one sequence of mistakes that you make, that allows for the other team to get a massive upper hand. And so far, the upper hand actually isn't massive. Use and Power, their lead is very fragile.
It's fragile for now. But Hughes did take away the victory in the South American 1v1s for spring. They're feeling real good to maybe run it back. Not once, but twice over now for both tournaments. The neutral sig is not going to connect, though. Attempted follow-up from Power doesn't quite connect, and there's the fast sig we're talking about. Hughes is warmed up, a well-oiled machine, and now potentially Wess and Fiend. They don't want to go to a game 5. They have to hold on to their final stocks.
Sidesy coming out. Hughes wanted to punish it, but got stuck in it instead. Now off stage, trying to run away from Fiend and Wess. Actually scratch that. Hughes never runs away, man. He's immediately returning, trying to hit Fiend with a Sair. Still on their second stock. Hughes is the MVP of this game.
The game's not over yet, Polly. We'll have to wait and see if maybe Fiend and Wess can turn it around here, eliminate the second stock. Hughes is a problem right now. Look at that positioning. Anywhere Hughes goes, purely for evasion. Fiend only now able to get one hit. The follow from Wess is there. That's why Hughes is jumping around so much.
GC and Light could have been massive. Not able to connect it though. Wesley. Oh, I think Wesley tried to swap over to the Lance there. That's very unfortunate. Axe dropped just a little bit too early, so we picked that up instead. Great weapon throw to cancel that cannon Ensig coming out from Onyx. He will get hit. They both actually will get hit by Hughes' amazing swordsman skills.
Look at Wess off stage. A great follow-up. Racking that damage against Hughes, but it's not enough. We thought maybe something was starting up, but it got shut down. We're going to game 5, Polly.
Game 5, Dream is alive, and yet again, I mean, we both tried to call it. We both gave it very, very unsure yeses, but we are, in fact, not going to see any Legend swaps here, okay? And I think that might just be record time in getting ready for the next game. I think Legend selection and map striking took maybe around 2 seconds. We're already back into it.
It's like deja vu. Literally every single game this series has been the same stances, the same stage, the same legends, and the same players. Well, obviously, but like nothing has changed. It is like a
Same game.
Same game, same computer, same internet, same planet, but not like it's like a scientific experiment. It's the same results. Well, same.
We're just running a simulation over and over again. You know,
Yeah,
seeing what the outcome is going to be.
We gotta break it.
Which team will be first to break the simulation, though? They're both very, very hungry for it so far.
Oh, no!
Hughes with that Ensig taking down Power. Very,
That's
very
not good.
unfortunate. It's recoverable. It's recoverable. The main thing here that I'm afraid of is that we've all been there. You just knocked out your own teammate. From here, you regress. You get scared. You don't want to throw out as many signatures. If Hughes gets stuck in that corner, there's no coming back.
But I mean, if you've made it this far to the top 8, I hope the mental's better than that. And it looks like so far the answer is yes. Wess and Fiend both fall. Hughes still maintaining that first stock. And compared to game 1 to game 5, Hughes is playing so much more evasive, letting Power do the majority. I don't want to say of the work, but being that entry point and Hughes playing more support to follow up for the acceleration against Red Team has been such a great dynamic change.
Great dynamic change indeed. Hughes now finally going down 1 minute and 30-second stock. Wess and Fiend are surely having a very difficult time with the Hughes right now. He is definitely giving them a lot of trouble. Oh my lord, what a 2v2 combo. Completely improvised.
Oh, and it almost kept on going. Power's able to find these random dares that are just catching Red Team off guard.
Fiend!
No!
The D-Lights Ensig! You gotta stop
no!
it, Fiend! This is not okay. You can't keep hitting them with the D-Light Ensig. They're not expecting it. We're not expecting it. The viewers don't know how to cope with it.
I don't know how to cope with it either, Polly. And Hughes.
It's such a crazy option. It's such a ballsy option. I love it.
And that's one of those things where you have your former teammates going up against each other. They may have learned new tricks that you're just not aware of. And Wess now, the former of those teammates up against Power, is taking that lead. Only by a little bit.
Wess now without a weapon has to be very careful. He is in fact going to get knocked out there, leaving Fiend to try and make it out on his own. Wess is going to be back, but he's not able to pick up that weapon. And just while in the search of a new weapon, he's gone all the way down to Orange
Great
Keg.
recovery. A great recovery. Power for the neutral game, shoving Wess as far off the stage as possible. Look at that damage. It doesn't matter how much defense you have. You're close to a simple signature to end it all there, but no. Hughes shut down before it could activate. You have to be afraid of Hughes right now. Fiend, also deep red. both have the capabilities of turning the tides of this match. This best of 5, sending one team to the lower bracket right here, right now. Uses offstage, the ground pound doesn't connect. Both of red team on the ledge, trying to make something work, but the neutral comes out, and Power eliminates both of them.
And there it is. Use and Power are going to be advancing to the winner finals, where they're going to be facing off against Lores and Kaina. We have a winner side, a top 4. And that does mean that Wess and Fiend are going to get knocked down to the elimination side, where we will see them later. But before that, of course, we have many...